So for me, maybe you'll forgive me in saying this as a Zulu man. So I wanted to make sure that they get a message that
I don't sneak up on a person. I face them directly.
So Commissioner, we were pushed to the corner that for us to counter this, what is happening, let's draw attention of South Africa for them to realize the battle that we're about to face.
Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi warned us about media houses. And amongst those media houses is Sunday Times, which is TimesLive as well. They've always written really concerning articles about Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, but these two articles are the ones that have left me to be in awe, because one moment they are actually in support of him, they're actually happy that his contract has been renewed, and on the other hand, they're actually criticizing the fact that he might be the acting National Police Commissioner. They don't want to see that reality coming into. They don't want him to be the next National Police Commissioner. Let us talk about these two articles. There's two contradicting articles by Sunday Times or TimesLive on Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Part of the system of protecting the drug squad, media plays part. Let me rephrase. Journalists within media houses, they are part of this in pushing certain narrative.
So I'll start with an article that they wrote with regards to the contract of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi being renewed. So they said that the renewal contract of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi as the KZN Police Commissioner is a positive step forward for the province and the country at large. The South African Police Services has confirmed the reappointment of Mkhwanazi on a new 5-year contract. At a time when South Africa faces immense challenge in law enforcement and public trust, steady leadership is crucial. Mkhwanazi's continued presence brings much needed stability to policing in KZN, reinforcing the fight against violent crimes in that province, including political unalivings and corruption at the provincial and national level. Mkhwanazi has become synonymous with integrity and transparency. His track record of exposing entrenched problems within the police services has been instrumental in strengthening accountability. During the famous July 6th briefing, he made damning allegations against high-ranking police officials and politicians, including the since suspended police minister Senthumule, police deputy head Lieutenant General Nhlanhla, and members of the judiciary. He accused them of aiding criminal syndicate, involving themselves in public investigations and obstructing justice. His claims gave rise to the Matlala Commission of Inquiry and an ad hoc parliamentary committee investigation. Mkhwanazi has accused Mkhunu of being influenced by criminal cartels to disband the political killings task team, as they thought it was investigating them after raids that took place at the two alleged cartel members, Molefe and Vusimuzi Matlala, in December 2024. Renewing Mkhwanazi's contract is a clear signal that the government values steadfastness and boldness in rooting out corruption. Without Mkhwanazi's fearless leadership, the public might never have learned about the skeletons in the closets of powerful figures, including the alleged controversial cosmetic surgeries for some of the female top cops that were allegedly paid for by Matlala, or a gift of impalas that Matlala allegedly made to Sibiya. The CPC has placed Natasha Phiri on precautionary suspension after evidence presented at the commission relating to the allegations that she was paid in exchange for information. At the commission's hearing, Police Sergeant Nkosi admitted that he paid 500 to Phiri. This allegedly happened after Phiri had sent Nkosi contact details of the blogger, which is Musa Kawul. Even more alarming have been the details of how some top cops have became entangled with criminal cartels. These revelations have shocked the nation and underlined the urgent need for reform and vigilance. Renewing Mkhwanazi's contract is a clear signal that the government values steadfastness and boldness in rooting out corruption. It also reassures citizens that the fight against corruption is being led by someone with an unflinching commitment to justice. As KZN continues to grapple with complex security challenges, the province and the country will benefit greatly from the stability and renewed momentum that Mkhwanazi leadership provides. This decision must now be matched by ongoing support and resources for the commissioner and his team. Only then can South Africa truly turn the tide against crime and corruption, restoring faith in the institution meant to protect us. You saw how positive this article is. Let me just remind you guys what Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said about journalists before we can go further.
It is fair. That's why I like investigative journalists. I think they're credible because they investigate first before they talk. I like the ones on TV behind cameras because they give it as is. The others that will just get information from others and write it becomes question marks, what happened to this one.
And which Sunday publication was that?
I know the name of the journalist. I cannot remember exactly the Sunday, the paper.
If you didn't know, you would have thought that actually Sunday Times or TimesLive is on the side of Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi until on the 5th, because the first article we read was on the 30th of March. Now, on the 5th of March, they released another article saying that police chief search clouded by controversy and doubt. Mkhwanazi's past actions and public persona raises questions over leadership bid. Says with Police Commissioner Fani Masemola on his way out after being summoned. Oh my God. On his way out, these people, after being summoned to appear in court this month, though not charged with corruption for allegedly contravening the Public Finance Management Act, attention is shifted to who will replace him, particularly in the immediate term in an acting capacity. Many names are in the mix, including that of Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the newly reappointed KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner. What is significant is the reality that each, including Mkhwanazi himself, comes with baggage. And indeed, there are very compelling reasons not to appoint Mkhwanazi. Ironically, not because one doubts his professionalism and competency, but due to extraneous factors. One glaring reason is that he previously acted as a police commissioner and unceremoniously left the post under a cloud. Up to now, it is not very clear what happened there, with Mkhwanazi himself unhelpfully trying to explain that he realized it was something he had not signed for. If at that time he could not stand the job, what has changed today that we can trust him to be in that position? Until this matter is cleared, this works against him. Secondly, despite the 2025 July press conference, which led to the establishment of the Matlala Commission and the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee to probe his allegations that drug and crime cartels burrowed themselves into the body politic of South Africa, Mkhwanazi remains an enigma. One of the many ironies accompanying the rise of his public persona and the respect he commands is this: what is he really about? Should we take at face value his claims that his aim is purely to uproot crime and ignore that what he himself has admitted are holes that remain unexplained? I don't know. Before I can even continue, guys, do you guys see that these people are two-faced? One moment they support, one moment they don't support. It's like they are divided themselves in this particular media house. They believe that this man can do this. The others are saying no ways. Example, the image he projected at his historic press conference still leaves lingering doubts. His camouflaged appearance with his similarly clad, heavily armed entourage raises questions. He has explained that he was sending a strong message to his criminal enemies that he is seriously on the warpath, but this explanation is inadequate. From another angle, it conjures a man who is potentially obsessed with power and somewhat of a loose cannon, and it did not even consult or even warn his superiors, the president and commissioner, that he was going to go public on these explosive revelations. Last, Mkhwanazi has been fingered in the very commission. His bravery has sprouted, and that he is right at the center of factional power battles in the police. It should have also been underlined that these observations are not meant to convey that Mkhwanazi is a lost cause. But before all these stories are cleared, for example, that his 2025 press brief was a preemptive strike rather than motivated by genuine concern, he must stay where he is. And this responsibility rests with Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, but critically the Matlala Commission. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. This is so disappointing that this is how they've painted Mkhwanazi. And this is how they see him, that he's not ready to actually be the National Police Commissioner, but he's fine to be the KZN Police Commissioner. And mind you, this article, this specific one, it was written by some professor, because he says it was Dr. Tabiso Hauyane, the head of Department in Political Science in UNISA. This is what this person wrote. And all I can say is that media houses, that is why they're being replaced slowly but surely by podcasters, independent media, because this point that they are trying to drive to, really, it does not make sense. And you cannot just come with contradicting things. You have to take a stance as a media house. I don't know what they're trying to drive to. I don't know if they're saying that, yeah, we love Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi and everything and all that, but he should stay where he is. He should not cross this boundary. And the boundary is the boundary of him being the National Police Commissioner. He can be anything but not the National Police Commissioner. How do you allow the issue of a dress code be the one that stops someone from doing their work or from qualifying to be the National Police Commissioner? There should be other things above just the dress code of that 6th July press brief, which has, in a way, everybody agrees has saved the country because it exposed a lot of things. And then you take that, you make that as a basis for you to say that someone cannot get the promotion, someone does not deserve the promotion. I just think that they're looking at anything, as trivial as it might come, to ensure that Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi doesn't get to that position of the National Police Commissioner. Hence, I even think that their intention was not even for the contract to be renewed. They didn't want the contract to be renewed. It's just that it's just so happened that they moved quicker about General Vusimuzi, as well as the Premier, to ensure that his contract gets renewed. But for them, including the IDAC, they don't want Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's contract to be renewed. We must never forget what Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi told us about the influence of the IDAC in terms of the next National Police Commissioner. The IDAC wanted Sibiya to be the next police commissioner. And that's what we heard from Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And that, that's what they wanted, for him to be the next. That is why he even said there can never be peace between him and Shadrack Sibiya.
General Sibiya testified that the meeting was successful to an extent that the mediation was signaled to be successful by the guests that we even shook hands there at the meeting.
Honorable Chair and members, what I can indicate on the meeting, when the minister started introducing the purpose of what the meeting is about, the question I asked the minister was, Minister, we are calling this meeting few months after we hosted the Interpol police chiefs in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban when they came to celebrate the police day with us in January. You are now a few months later inviting us to come and forge a peace between me and Sibiya. The Sibiya that I was hosting in KZN in January, sitting, I even took him on a station on the boat, sitting with him next to the boat to give him comfort in the water, enjoying the refreshments that was provided. He was talking to me, all was good. For every other meetings that we meet at the POC, we talk. Sergeant Kosi kept coming to me and said he wants to arrange a meeting between me and Sibiya. Sibiya is asking to meet with me. So I kept asking Kosi, I said, what is it with Sibiya? Because I go to the meetings in Pretoria. We interact in the meeting. Why doesn't he tell me what he wants to tell me if there's something? So I did not understand what is this peace talk about. So because it was proven in that meeting that it's not clear as to what the fight is about. So that means we must go back and work as we're supposed to work. So that's how the meeting ended. But I learned later that Minister Mkhulu did good to speak about the meeting. Actually, the meeting was supposed to be engaged by Minister Cele before. Because Sibiya had approached Minister Cele, and Sibiya had approached the National Commissioner to arrange the same. But the reason I'm told that Cele and the National Commissioner did not do that meeting is because of Senthumule, who told them that Sibiya told him that Mr. Matlala from the EFF is the one who spoke to organize the meeting. Matlala from the EFF. Mr. Matlala from EFF? Yes, Mr. Oh, yes. Malema from EFF. I'm very good at mixing up of names. My apologies. Mr. Julius Malema from EFF was going to have
a problem with names today. You always twist them around.
Mr. Julius Malema, these allegations. Mr. Julius Malema, Sibiya has spoken to Julius Malema to arrange a meeting between me and Sibiya. So there's no need for the Minister Mkhwanazi and the National Commission to arrange. So this I hear from the National Commission. Why do I say this, Honorable Chair? Is that after Sibiya testified before the Matlala Commission, Sibiya says to the Commission I recorded Senthumule because the National Commission had confronted me about what Senthumule told him that I said. And as a result, Sibia felt that he must record Senthumule. Hence the recording we're listening to here. That was Sibia justifying why he recorded Senthumule. So when I asked the National Commission, I said, Sibia is saying this, is it true? The National Commission said, yes, it's true. We were sitting in a police jet. And Senthumule told both, I don't know how the conversation came about, but he told both any National Commission, he said, no, Sibia he said he's sorted, he has asked Julius to help him to set up a meeting between himself and General Mkhwanazi. So maybe there's no need for you. That's when the Minister said, and the National Commission said, we're no longer going to be part of it. So I then discovered that means this peace talk was not starting with Mr. Mkhwanazi. It's something that should have been done back then, was not done. But then in my own analysis, where this peace talk come from, in the main, I think it comes from the fight that we had over the AKA matter, that investigation of AKA, which Sibia wanted to interfere with. I suspect, I don't know the reason for that. But subsequent to that, I believe that the other things happened in Gauteng, and he felt that maybe I'm stronger closer to General Mkhwanazi than other people. Perhaps to have him getting things done, he must come to me. I don't know.
Did you shake hands?
Well, I cannot remember whether we shook hands on the day, but we spoke.
You smoke a peace pipe.
Not peace pipe, we spoke.
Do you consider General Sibia a criminal?
For the evidence that I had picked up before the July 6th and what I've heard now, what Matlala told me about him is true.
And you still maintain that there can never be peace between you as a police officer and him because he's a criminal?
Well, there was, at the time I made a statement of peace between a police officer and a criminal, not necessarily saying Sibia per se. I can tell you now that there cannot be peace between me and General Sibia.
And now with him being renewed, they have the thing of, let us cage him to the national police, to the provincial police commissioner. We rather cage him there and for him to not take it further. Because if he takes it further, this man is a threat. And I'm not going to lie, it's not that I'm shocked, because we were warned about media houses by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi many a times. And the fact that that warning is actually coming into, we're actually seeing what he meant. It makes me to just see that, okay, that's just how it is. People just want to cage Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi because of what he did. Instead of us thanking him, we're focusing on dress codes, we're focusing on attires. Have you guys focused on those trivial matters for other things? What has he done? What is a big thing that he has done for him to be hindered to be the next acting National Police Commissioner? But we are hearing that media houses like Sunday Times, they believe that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi does not deserve that position. And actually, there's a lot of skeletons in a way that he has to answer to before he can assume this position. But when we speak about his character, his work, we know that he's excellent. He doesn't like crime. He hates criminals. There's never peace between a police officer and a criminal. And now, with the media houses acting like this, it leaves you with a lot of questions. Hence, he was even praising broadcasters. The broadcasters are doing a good job, not media houses, because we see such things of contradiction. The next moment, oh, we love him. Actually, let him be the provincial police commissioner. But no, he can't be the national police commissioner. I don't know what you guys think about all of these revelations. And do you guys think that sometimes Sunday Times is fair? Sunday Times is just coming with its unfair things, like it has always done, and that we cannot just trust these media houses and the agenda that they're trying to push all the time, every chance that they get. Nonetheless, let me hear you guys. Let me hear your thoughts. I will see you on my next upload. Bye.